Have you ever needed to live somewhere? Me too. Welcome back to my channel. So if you can't tell from that intro and the title of this video, I moved. I lived in my last apartment for 4 years while I was going to college, and now that I am graduated, I kind of knew that that was going to be the time I wanted to move. While I was getting ready to move, I also was thinking of, am I going to stay in my state? Am I going to move states? Am I going to stay in a specific area? Am I going to move areas or cities? The biggest thing I had to think about with moving though was when my lease ends and then when my partner's lease ends. My lease was ending July 7th and his doesn't end until September 1st. So there was a 2-month gap in there that I needed to figure out. And originally I asked that apartment complex, hey, can I just like continue my lease for 2 months and extend it until September? And they were like, oh my God, thank you for living here for 4 years. No, you can't do that. Hence why I ended up moving. About 25% of the moving process I really enjoy, and that is the looking at apartments part. However, the 75% of moving, which is the actual packing shit up into boxes and moving said boxes to another place, that part I fucking hate. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the fun 25%. When I first started looking at apartments, I separated things into my must-have requirements and then my preferences that I could be a little more lenient with. The biggest thing on my requirement list was obviously the lease term. I needed a place that would let me rent for 2 to 3 months at the most. My second requirement was my location. While I'm not tied to my school anymore and I don't have to live super close to that anymore, I do want to stay in an area that is close to my work and close to my friends and an area that I feel at least somewhat safe in. Pets were also a really big concern. I have 2 cats. And even though they're both emotional support animals, some places are really picky about the fact that there are pets there and they will just not rent to you if you have pets. Next, my budget was under $2,500. I recognize that saying that, especially out loud, is a lot of fucking money. I am in no way saying that that is a low budget. That's just kind of the budget that I came to based on the area that I wanted to live and what seemed reasonable. And then obviously like, am I able to pay that? Now, speaking of the budget, when you're looking at apartments or places to live online, they will usually post it at a 12-month lease because that's the most common that is signed for places. I also didn't know this until I started looking at apartments, but the shorter your lease term is, the more expensive your rent will be per month. And lastly, for my requirements, I did not want to be on a first floor, and that's mostly just a safety thing. I just feel safer not being on a first floor. Now, my preferences, I am definitely flexible with. They are not absolute needs, but they, you know, they'd be nice to have. And among those was having an elevator. At my old place, I lived on the 3rd floor and I didn't have an elevator and it fucking sucked to move stuff out of and into and do stuff. And I'm a lazy girl and I don't like stairs. What can I say? Second, I wanted to try to find a place that had south-facing windows. If you live in a place with south-facing windows, you'll get the most direct sunlight throughout the day. And I am fucking depressed, so I need some of that vitamin D. I also wanted in-unit laundry because I had it in my old place and I'm spoiled. It's really fucking convenient. With all of that in mind, I started looking at apartments and I found a few that I thought would work and scheduled tours for them. The first apartment I saw was a 1-bed, 1-bath. Now, originally I thought the price was really, really good. I thought it was $11.45. It turns out it was actually like $34.05. That's where I found out that your rent increases the shorter term your lease is. So you learn something new every day. Now, this place was very big. It was bigger than the place I was in currently at 710 square feet, and it had a patio. It had almost all of my preferences, like in-unit laundry, and it had this really cool mirror that I really loved. I love this. This is so fun. Fit check. The same outfit I wear 90% of the time. However, this place was farther out than I actually wanted to be. It was actually the only apartment that I looked at that was that far away from the location I wanted. And at the time, I was okay with going to look at it because I thought the price was so good. But with the price being what it actually was and the location, that was just a huge deal breaker for me. And if that wasn't enough, it was also a unit that would have been on the first floor, and I just don't feel super safe about being on the first floor. So this was almost an immediate no. I wasn't like super bummed out about saying no so quickly to this place because I had lined up like 6 different apartment tours all together to see in like 3 days. So I wasn't too disappointed, and I just went on to apartment number 2. This was another 1 bed, 1 bath at $26.70. It had these giant windows and they were south facing, so I would get so much direct sunlight throughout the day. It was on a 2nd floor, which I really loved, and it was in the area that I wanted to be in. However, this was a little bit smaller than the last place and the place that I was at. It was at 608 square feet. The biggest issue with that is that I had very, very little storage space. I knew I was gonna downsize when I was moving apartments, but I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to downsize enough. I also knew, since it was gonna be such a short lease term, that I wasn't gonna unpack everything when I moved. So I wanted to make sure that I had space for the stuff that was getting unpacked and for just like a shit ton of packed boxes somewhere. Now, as I was leaving this apartment, I actually saw another apartment building really close to it, and I called them and I said, hey, can I just like show up in an hour? And they were like, we've got you. They were truly amazing to fit me in just at a random point in time within an hour and have everything ready for me. This place was another 1 bed, 1 bath at $24.10. It was still in this really great area that I liked. And this apartment was so spacious. It was the biggest apartment I saw at 733 square feet. They also staged it so I could kind of get an idea of what my furniture would look like in there and what I could do with the space. However, the issues with this place was there was no elevator and my apartment door opened like to outside. And I have lived in a place where my apartment door opens up to outside, but I'm just like constantly thinking about my safety and worried that a man will just kill me in my own home in my sleep. So it was definitely something to think about. Apartment number 4 was the only studio apartment that I saw, and it was priced at $2,020. Overall, this space was truly amazing. The whole complex looked like it was really well taken care of. It looked like it had a good community. The apartment is 601 square feet, but it doesn't feel that way. Like, it is super spacious. There was this giant closet that I could totally fit my bed into if I wanted. Everything made me feel very, very safe. It was in the exact area I wanted to be in. It really hit all of my requirements and all of my preferences. The only thing that it didn't hit was it has north-facing windows, which are not the best, but overall, I absolutely love this place. And as I was leaving, I immediately started putting in an application to this place. I was so excited and I loved it so much. I actually liked this way better than the 1 bedroom, 1 bath that I saw. So I was just super excited and I immediately put in an application because I was so excited. I did look at other apartments too, but these were like the main ones that I was looking at and had actually filmed when I went to go look at them. I did say I was going to put an application in for apartment number 3, but I actually didn't end up doing that, which I do not recommend at all if you are looking for apartments and need to find a place fast. So I only submitted an application for apartment 4, and that's where I am. Feels like a very anticlimactic reveal. Because I have so limited time here, I made sure to unpack everything that I wanted to unpack as quickly as possible so that I could be settled before I have to start the moving process all over again. But this place is awesome. It's super close to my work, it's super close to my friends. And as far as like living somewhere for only 2 months goes, I couldn't complain too much. And with that, I am done talking. I'm done. I don't want to anymore. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did, I hope it was helpful or enjoyable in some way, shape, and or form. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it sucked. Maybe you hate it. Mood, I don't know. But stay right and have a good rest of your day. But now that I'm settled, I'm gonna go look at Zillow for the next place that I have to move. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.